For more on this one, we say hello and welcome to CBS Sports MLB insider Jim Bowden. JB, the offenses come alive here on Tuesday for these two ball clubs, but ultimately it's Freddie Freeman sending Atlanta back to the NLCS. It'll be their second consecutive appearance following a 19-year drought. They're going to have to face one of the two juggernauts. Jim, did Atlanta show you enough over these last few days to think perhaps this could be the National League representative this season?
Well, there's no doubt they've got a chance to get to the World Series here. I think what really showed up again in this series is how good the back end of their bullpen is. People don't talk enough about A.J. Minter and Tyler Matzik and, of course, the closer Will Smith. But those three guys have been doing it for a month now. The entire month of September, those guys have been lights out. So if their starters can go 6, and you got those three guys at the back end, they've got a chance. They're going to score enough runs. Now, well, there's no doubt they missed Jorge Soler, who tested positive for COVID-19. That was a setback before the game. Dansby Swanson having to lead off, that was a factor. Charlie Morton was willing to pitch on 3 days rest. He did the best he could given the circumstances. I think they were fortunate that Corbin Burns was not able to start on 3 days rest. But I look at this Braves team. This team can score runs, and you look at the infield. All 4 infielders have 27 or more home runs. This is a very good defensive club, and you saw what Freddie Freeman means to this team in this at-bat right here. Josh Hader comes in. Left-hand hitters were 11 for 89 against him this year with 50 strikeouts. He throws a first-pitch slider, and what does Freeman do? Take it the other way for a game-winning home run. Freddie Freeman, before the game, told reporters that he was going to work on trying to go the other way in this game. That's exactly what he did. He had a previous single to left field, but that at bat, he looked for the first pitch breaking ball. He got it and hit the game winner. And now Atlanta gets to go on and play either the Dodgers or the Giants. But yes, this team is capable, even without Acuna, without Ozuna, without Soroka. They're still good enough to get there.
It's truly spectacular the way that they have rallied in the face of all that attrition. We know what's out in front of them and these two ball clubs that they could be playing, but got to do a bit of a season debrief here on Milwaukee. As you outlined, plenty of talent in that clubhouse. What are some of the tweaks you'd like to see them make here in the offseason to try and get to that next level?
Joe, they're going to have to prove on the offense. Look, there's no doubt they've got 3 impact #1 type starters when they're healthy in Burns and Woodruff and Peralta. They've got the impact closer with Hader. Williams will come back from his hand injury. The back of the bullpen with Ashby and Boxberger is going to be okay, but they're going to have to improve the offense. They need another big bat, and I think that when David Stearns heads to the postseason here, I think that's the one thing he's going to look for. It's a good defensive team. They can pitch. But in a series like this, they don't have a Freddie Freeman. Christian Yelich hasn't been the same since his back injury. Doesn't have a lot of help in the middle of the lineup. That's their biggest need.
All right, the ALCS matchup is set. As has been the case for the last half-decade, the Houston Astros are one of your final 2 remaining American League ball clubs. They'll play host to the resurgent Red Sox. That series set to begin on Friday night. And here's a look at how the two stacked up throughout the regular season. 5-2 advantage Houston in this instance, and looked pretty similar to what Houston did to Chicago throughout that series. 42 runs to just 25 for the Red Sox, a team batting average of 300 to just 210 for the Bo Sox, an advantage on the bump as well. Back in the fold with CBS MLB insider Jim Bowden. JB, before we get to the matchup ahead, the Astros leaving no doubt on the south side Tuesday afternoon, a 10-1 drubbing to send the Sox on vacation. They absolutely dismantled what was one of the best pitching staffs in the entire league. More than 7.5 runs per game. Sox starters on average chased after just 3 innings. What stood out to you about the way this Astros team performed over the last week?
Well, the Houston Astros lineup is one of the best in baseball, if not the best. They scored 863 runs in the regular season, but they hit good pitching. And this lineup from top to bottom, 1 to 8, this lineup everybody can go deep on you. But they hit the nasty pitches. And we got Kyle Tucker hitting 7th in the lineup, absolutely dominating in this series. He was incredible. Carlos Correa, as you just saw him swing the pole there. How many big hits have we seen on center stage? Alex Bregman, Jose Altuve, Yuli Gurriel. All of these guys are so used to the postseason, and they showed the White Sox that. Their confidence in this series of hitting the best pitchers, and they were able to do that. Yordan Alvarez, the left-handed hitter. Bregman had a big game today. There's Altuve hitting it. I mean, this lineup, top to bottom, it's tough to navigate. And for the White Sox, they didn't have the same pitchers they had in the first half in terms of stuff. And that's what we saw in this series. It's not the same Lynn, not the same Giolito. Rodon was a little bit better, but he's not the same as what we saw in the first half. And the Astros are going to hit good pitching.
Yeah, this Astros team, no easy outs, 1 through 9. You mentioned Correa. You mentioned some of the other guys in the back half of that batting order. Just a nightmare for opposing pitching staffs. But the stage is set now in the AL. Red Sox, Stros, and the Cora Bowl. Before we get to a pick here, Jim, both of these teams advancing thanks in large part to hot bats. Where's the biggest advantage to be had on either side of this matchup in your eyes?
Well, look, these two teams have faced each other 3 of the last 5 years in the postseason. They're used to seeing each other. The big difference to me is the Astros lineup is lengthier than Boston. Now, Boston has Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez in the middle that can carry this team. And it's going to be very important that Houston really isolates on those 3 guys and try to take them out. But Houston lineup being deeper, I think, is an advantage. The Astros are a much better defensive team. You know, they really have 3 shortstops in the infield with Bregman at third, Correa at short, and Altuve at second. That's a special infield. They take a lot of hits away with their range and their first step quickness. It's a very good defensive team in the outfield as well. And I think that's an advantage that the two teams have. But neither team really has elite pitching outside of the Astros have McCullers, but he has a forearm injury after this game. We don't know how serious it's going to be. We're going to have to monitor that. The Red Sox have Eovaldi, but I don't know what Chris Sale's going to look like in this series. Eduardo Rodriguez, you see one good, then you see one bad. And that's what's interesting is both these teams have lineups that are going to hit mediocre pitching. I'm expecting a high-scoring series between these two teams, the Red Sox and Astros.
All right, so Jim Bowden says runs aplenty. Always a good time for us fans. As for a pick here, JB, Vegas releasing the odds positioning Houston as -150 favorites, but the Red Sox, they've showed up, they've showed out, and this will be no coronation as they've shown us over the last couple weeks. Who do you like, and in how many games?
Well, I'm going to go with the Astros, but I think this series is going 7. I will say that I think Lance McCullers' health situation is going to be important in this series. The Astros need his ace there. But the Astros have been there so many times for the postseason. They are really good. They're doing it without the trash can. I like the Astros in 7, but I think it's going to be a really good series.
Sign us up for 7, he says. That's the best in the big. CBS MLB insider Jim Bowden. Thank you, JB.
Thank you, Joe.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.